Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and early, 6 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Let me tell you guys, for the last week with everything going on in my life, I've been trying to produce as good as I can videos for YouTube. Ideally, I would like to do 2 videos per day, but as you guys can imagine, with everything that's going on right now, I'm working on a painting too in memorial of my ex-girlfriend. A large painting, and there's a lot going on right now, so I'm doing the best I can to present and bring you guys videos. There's a lot I want to talk about and take care of everything else that's going on. What I'm saying here is in a month or so, when everything settles down a little bit, I anticipate getting back to some solid 2 videos a day. All right, that being said, today's the big day. Are you ready? Trump's coming back today. You didn't know that? Yes, today is Friday, August 13th. Mike Lindell, Mike Lindell has been saying for months that today is the day that his cyber symposium is over, okay? And after it finished up and the evidence was presented, he anticipated that Joe Biden would step down because in Lindell's opinion, Joe Biden was kind of fooled too. Because this whole thing, well, at first it was the deep state, and then I believe it was Venezuela and Hugo Chavez, and then it was Italy and the satellites, and now it's China. It's China. So after Mike Lindell's cyber symposium that happened for the last 3 days, Joe Biden would be so shocked that of China, what China did with this last election, that he would step down and Donald Trump would rightly take his throne back. The Supreme Court would pick this right up, even though that's not how any of this works. But the Supreme Court would pick this right up and presumably make new laws and new amendments, and thus Donald Trump would be reinstated. Seriously, that's Mike Lindell. That's what he told us was going to happen. As a matter of fact, he was putting up $5 million if anybody could disprove the evidence that he provided for over these last 3 days. By the way, the links will be down below. By the way, he's withdrawn that $5 million. It's no longer, for some reason, he's not offering it up anymore. Okay, it was a big flop. You know what? It's gotten to the point where I almost feel like I'm beating up, I'm just beating on somebody. It's almost pathetic at this point. Okay, if there's Trump supporters out there, I know there's always a couple out there. Do you really believe this? Do you believe what he's saying? Do you really believe this? Okay, here's Mike's excuse. Like I said, the links will all be down below. Once again, the fallback, the blame goes to that deep radical left-wing group that begins with A, ends with FA, that group. Yes, once again, Mike Lindell is seriously, he's blaming it. It's almost got ridiculous. I can't even say this. I can't even do this video with a straight face. He's saying that there were these anti-actors that were outside the building, and they were sneaking in, and supposedly they had to have all sorts of security, and that's why this kind of thing flopped and fell on its face. It's because they were infiltrated by the deep state left, and that group that begins with A and ends with FA. He's seriously, he's blaming me. Remember back in January, that day in early January, how they said it wasn't us, it was them. It was that group that begins with A, ends with FA. It was all them. They were dressed up like us. They were pretending to be us. That's who really did it. Wow, you guys, you're still buying this? Serious? It's gotten so pathetic at this point. All right, what really bothers me though is Mike Lindell crying about free speech. His free speech. Oh my God. Okay, what if I came on here and starting today, I made it. I forgot about my art. I forgot about my recovery. My life's duty was to bring to light that Mike's pillows maybe have a carcinogen in them, like say asbestos or something, and they cause some kind of situation with people that use them. And what if I just, and there was no proof, but I just kept pounding this home, every day, making more videos. And I had symposiums. And, what if the video started going viral and Mike's business started losing money? Would that be okay? No, of course it wouldn't be okay. It's like, it seems like the right, they claim to be, that hard-working, family-orientated, the Republicans, and they don't seem to grasp certain things like responsibility. Along with freedom of speech comes responsibility. You can't just parade out a bunch of dishonest statements and claim that that's your opinion. It floats for a little while, but when people start believing it, people start being hurt by your dishonesty, then it's time to cut it, to call you on it. And that's what's happening here. During his cyber symposium, I'll make sure this video is in there. There's somebody else speaking, and Mike claimed that he was going to be out in front of that stage 72 hours. But when he got the news that the Supreme Court wasn't throwing out his case, he ran off that stage. And the guy that's doing the talking right then just watches Mike Lindell run off stage. Apparently, I'm not even sure if he ever came back on stage after that. One thing I want to talk about too is I'm going to try to make sure this link is down below too. I really thought there was more people in the audience. There's a couple pictures of, most of the video and stuff you'll see is the stage. There's a couple pictures that shows there's probably about I'd say 20 at the most, big round tables. And honestly, there's probably, I don't know, maybe 15 people at all these tables. It's truly pathetic. Again, this picture could have been taken at one time or another time, but in general, there was a very small, I really thought the audience was going to be larger than those 20 or so, 15, 20 or so large event tables that they had. Like I said, the links will be down below so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so, hey, I could still be proven wrong. It's still Eastern time. It's only 8 a.m. here in Connecticut, Eastern time. I could still be proven wrong. Trump could still, this all could still take place in the next, 16 hours or whatever. Yeah, and pigs could fly out of my butt. So anyway, and then I was also reading up on people that have these predilections for conspiracy theories, how they continually move the goalpost, and they continually just work in, when something doesn't come to fruition, they just work it in. And that's what you see here with Lindell, saying that it was that group, that deep state group. That's who they're blaming now. That's who he's blaming. And it gets to the point where it's not funny, because people like Mike Lindell and other groups, this is who people are. Apparently, it sounds crazy, but people are believing it. And that's what the Republicans are using as a reason to put out these voter suppression, these changes in election laws, the voter suppression. Especially now, one thing I want to talk about in the coming videos, there was a report that just came out yesterday, talking about how there was a huge increase in the people that consider themselves mixed race, and Asian Americans increased, Hispanics increased, African Americans increased, and then Caucasian Americans decreased. And this is going to be cause for fear and loathing and everything from the Republicans and from the Trump supporters, that they're being they're being wiped out, or I don't know, whatever they're claiming now. But anyway, somebody somewhere is believing people like Mike Lindell, and lawmakers, they know it's not true, but they're using it to make it harder for certain groups to vote. And they're using people like Mike Lindell's ridiculous theories. Oh, let me say this too. So Lindell was talking about these data packets that were snatched. And from everything I could gather, there was nothing to any of this evidence. There was nothing to his claims. Computer experts that looked at whatever they had up there on the screen said that it was just voter rolls that you could buy for $25. You know, if you wanted to spend $25, I think it was Pennsylvania voting rolls. It was common public information. In other words, that's the data streams they put up there. Also, another thing that experts in the field of these packets, what they said was, what Mike Lindell presented up there was like a Hollywood version of what Hollywood would present it as. It was like a fictitious, all the data streaming and saying, this is our packets. And computer experts across the boards said this is not how any of this would really work in real life. This is the Hollywood version of how people imagine this works. And on top of that, the information that was actually up there was just public information that you could buy, just information you could buy for $25, I think, at the town hall, your local town hall. So Mike Lindell's Cyber Symposium bites the big one. All right, you guys have a great, hey, I don't know, like I said, day's not over yet. All right, you guys have a great Friday. I'll be back later with another video.